Tortured in ways too cruel to imagine, for 40 days, she was held captive. November 1988, in Tokyo, Japan. Junko Furuta, a 17-year-old high school student, had her whole life ahead of her. She was beautiful, smart, and a normal teenager with dreams of the future. But on her way home one evening, Junko's life took a turn into unthinkable darkness. A group of teenage boys, led by Hiroshi Miyano, tricked her into following them. Miyano was known for having connections to the Yakuza, Japan's organized crime syndicate. Once they had her, she was taken to a house in the quiet suburb of Adachi, what would become her prison for the next 40 days. At first, her captors told their parents that Junko was Miyano's girlfriend, and unbelievably, the adults accepted it. Behind closed doors, the boys subjected Junko to brutal torture. Day after day, night after night. She was beaten, starved, humiliated, and burned. Neighbors reportedly heard strange noises, but no one intervened, fearing Yakuza involvement. Junko endured unimaginable suffering. Her injuries became so severe she could barely move. Yet through it all, she reportedly begged for her life, pleading to be freed, even offering to help her captors escape punishment if they would just let her go. But instead, her torture only escalated. By the 40th day, Junko could no longer stand or speak. The boys, realizing she was near death, continued their assault until she finally succumbed to her injuries. To dispose of her body, they placed her in a drum, filled it with concrete, and abandoned it in a construction site. Her remains were discovered months later, and when police identified her, the entire country was horrified. 4 teenagers were arrested, but because they were minors, their names were initially withheld, and their sentences were shockingly light. None served more than a few years in prison. The case of Junko became one of Japan's most infamous crimes. Not just for its brutality, but for the failure of everyone around her to act. It exposed deep flaws in the justice system and left a lasting scar on the nation's conscience. Even decades later, Junko's story is remembered not just as a tragedy, but as a haunting reminder of what happens when cruelty goes unchecked, and silence becomes complicity.